Guilty Crown was one of the most anticipated anime ever in the genre's long history. However, the end product received extremely mixed reviews, with it being simultaneously the best and worst show for a lot of people. But there was one aspect of the anime that everyone agreed was perfect: the fictional band, Egoist. In this video, I'm gonna talk about why Guilty Crown was such a polarizing anime, and how it produced the greatest fictional band ever. Let's start by explaining what made Guilty Crown one of the most anticipated anime ever back when it was announced. The anime was produced by Production IG, a highly respected studio known for Ghost in the Shell, Kimi ni Todoke, and more recently, Kuroko's Basketball, Psycho-Pass, and Haikyuu. The director, Araki Tetsuro, made his name with shows like Death Note, High School of the Dead, and is now famous for directing Attack on Titan. If there's anything more impressive than working on Attack on Titan, it would be working on Code Geass, because that's what the writer, Yoshino Hiroyuki, did. And that's just the staff. They also hired one of the greatest ensembles of voice actors people have ever seen. The main character, Omashu, is voiced by Kaji Yuki, known for voicing Eren from Attack on Titan, Meliodas from The Seven Deadly Sins, and Todoroki from My Hero Academia. Guilty Crown was actually the breakout show for him, thanks to the anime's massive exposure. Another key male character of the show, Tsuzugami Gai, is voiced by my favorite voice actor, Nakamura Yuichi. He was already a well-known voice actor at that time, having voiced the main characters of Clannad, Fairy Tail, and Oreimo. Since Guilty Crown, he has voiced characters like Shibatasia from Mahoka and Gojo Satoru from Jujutsu Kaisen. Basically, every one of his characters ended up becoming my favorite. These are two of the most popular male voice actors in modern anime, but the female voice actors are just as influential as they are. The most iconic character of Guilty Crown, Inori, is voiced by Kayo no Ai, who just had the breakout role a few months prior to Guilty Crown, with Menma from Anohana. She's also known for the main characters of Sakura Sho, No Game No Life, and Darkness from Konosuba. The last voice actor included is my favorite female voice actor, Hanazawa Kana. She's part of almost every popular 2010s anime, from Kuroneko from Oreimo, to the teacher from both The Garden of Words and Your Name, and is more recently known for voicing Kanoji from Demon Slayer. As talents go, it really doesn't get any better. However, after a strong start to the show, the story and pacing became a huge issue for many viewers. The anime started dragging a bit in the middle, and the main character was rubbing many viewers the wrong way. Then in the final run, the pace became incredibly fast, and suddenly the show was over. The ending also left a sour taste in many viewers. These are common complaints about the show, and as someone who started watching since day one, I do think it's partly true. How you perceive the ending is subjective. I personally liked it, but I can't deny that the pacing and character development were a bit dissatisfying. Still, it is one of my most cherished anime experiences. The emotional impact of the show, despite its highs and lows, will forever be part of my core memory. This is a sentiment that a decent number of people share, especially for those unencumbered by the impossible expectations. And that's the biggest reason why many find it disappointing. The build-up towards the show has set unrealistic expectations due to the intrigue of an entirely new IP, adding the background of its cast and staff. It's understandable why people thought the anime could become one of the greatest ever, even before watching a single second. But for those who weren't so invested during the process, it's a lot easier to disregard the flaws and focus on the beauty within. As for whether the anime was a success or not, the director had indirectly admitted that it was a letdown considering the high budget and expectations of the show. The animation, design, voice acting, music, everything was near perfection, but nothing trumps good storytelling. However, something that probably even the showrunners didn't expect is Guilty Crown's impact on anime music, because it has one of the greatest collections of songs in anime history, and the show icon Inori and her band Egoist ended up becoming even more popular than the anime itself. Let's start from the beginning. When Guilty Crown was under production, the music producer of Supercell, Leo, was given the opportunity to create a fictional band for the anime. At that time, Leo was already an established music/Vocaloid producer. His second single, Meruto, is one of the most influential Vocaloid songs ever, and even inspired Yonezu Kenshi to pursue a career in music. After he formed Supercell, the music unit instantly caught everyone's attention with their first single, Kimi no Shiranai Monogatari. The single became one of the most important songs that shaped modern J-pop, and gave Leo the chance to create something special with Guilty Crown. As the production was underway, he auditioned 2,000 candidates for Inori's singing part. Eventually, he picked out a 17-year-old high schooler called Cherry, and thus Egoist was formed. Cherry possesses a hauntingly beautiful voice that no other singers can replicate, and her ability to channel the emotions of Inori through her singing is what completes Guilty Crown's unique worldview. Countless singers with perhaps better vocal techniques have covered Egoist songs, and many of them have done an amazing job, but no one can ever replace Cherry. During an interview, Leo revealed that although he usually began his songwriting process with instruments, due to the band's concept of creating music that reflects Inori's emotional state, Cherry's ethereal voice became the base of all Egoist songs. And that brings us to the day episode 1 of Guilty Crown aired. The world was introduced to Inori and Egoist in the opening scene with Euterepe. After one amazing episode that got everyone hooked, the ending theme, Departure, Anata ni okoru ai no uta, brought the show to a whole new level. You know how when something life-changing happens, you remember everything around you, the time and place. That's what Egoist in this episode did to me as an anime and J-pop fan. It is possible that I wouldn't be here making these videos without Egoist. Anyway, a week later, when the hype was still real, and people couldn't wait for more, episode 2 dropped, and one of the best opening theme songs ever blew everyone's mind. Although it's not performed by Egoist, My Dearest by Supercell was another masterpiece made by Leo. As the show progressed to episode 13, viewers are well aware of what Guilty Crown and Egoist are about, so that makes it the perfect timing to introduce the second opening theme song, The Everlasting Guilty Crown. Even after a decade, My Dearest and The Everlasting Guilty Crown are still two of my favorite songs, and that just shows how remarkable the anime could have been, and why a lot of people are bitter about it. I still love Guilty Crown for all the things they have done right, but they truly had the potential to put their name amongst the all-time greats. At least the director learned his lessons and made Attack on Titan. I suppose it's fair to say that perhaps Attack on Titan wouldn't have been this successful without Guilty Crown. After the anime ended, Cherry thought that was it for her music career, but unbeknownst to her, an album was decided alongside the Guilty Crown OVA, Lost Christmas, which included my favorite Egoist song, Planetes. Even with the show concluded, the concept of Egoist remained the same, so Planetes is actually a continuation of Inori's journey of finding her loved one. Now you might argue that there are more popular fictional bands like Hesoku Bando, which is true considering the relevancy. But one thing that separates Egoist from the rest is their activity after Guilty Crown ended. Many popular fictional bands or idol groups have existed throughout anime history, but rarely do they outgrow their franchise. A huge reason is that their popularity is often based on people's attachment to the characters. So it's not really necessary to branch out when those anime shows are popular in their own right. But since Guilty Crown didn't become a phenomenon like K-On!, Angel Beats, or Love Live did, the blessing in disguise is that Egoist's music has no attachment that would discourage other projects. You won't be watching the Fate series and suddenly hear Yui from K-On! Singing the opening. So in 2012, Egoist released Namae mo nai kaibutsu as the ending theme of Psycho-Pass. And in 2013, All Along With You for its second ending theme. Namae mo nai kaibutsu is a monumental success for Egoist, as it became a bigger hit than The Everlasting Guilty Crown and Departure, signifying that they have successfully evolved beyond Guilty Crown. Over the next few years, they continued releasing music for anime and started hosting concerts. You might be wondering how their live shows work. Well, since Cherry is still portraying Inori during performances, they use motion capture and project Cherry's movements with Inori's appearance. That was the mid-2010s, so you could even suggest that Egoist had a profound impact on the recent VTuber boom in Japan. Although the audience sees Inori's appearance throughout the show, Cherry only stays in character when she performs. During intervals and between songs, she actually chats with the audience casually. In 2016, a new original anime from Wit Studio called Cabanelli of the Iron Fortress started airing, and the director happened to be Araki Tetsuro, the showrunner of Guilty Crown, who had just come off an unprecedented success directing Attack on Titan. With another original anime in hand, he reached out to Egoist without a second thought, which led to the anime's opening theme, Cabanelli of the Iron Fortress. And the collaboration between Amy and Chelly for the ending theme, Ninely. My favorite Egoist song that isn't connected to Guilty Crown also came from this franchise, when the Cabanelli of the Iron Fortress movie, featuring Sakase Sakase, was released in 2019. While all these anime songs were further establishing Egoist's place as one of the most unique artists in J-pop history, the band's release rate has been on a gradual decline since 2017, as the music producer, Leo, was starting to shift his focus to other projects. In 2020, although Egoist attempted to revitalize their activity by partnering with numerous producers, none of the new songs were able to capture the essence that made Egoist special. Not only that, the change in music style also wasn't well received among parts of the fanbase. Witnessing all these, Chelly decided it was time to make a change, starting with the announcement of her solo activity in 2021 under the name Li Xie. Since making her debut as the vocalist of Egoist, Chelly has always been on the passive side of things. She sings what Leo told her to, and even though she does have some input from time to time, her role during the creative process has always been minimal. So with the band reaching year 12 since Guilty Crown's release, on August 26, 2023, Egoist announced their disbandment after their final concert on October 9th. During that show, Egoist performed all of their classics, and ended with the song that started everything, Departure, Anata ni okoru ai no uta. After Chelly bid her last goodbye, and the credits started rolling on the big screen, everyone thought the show was over. But people forgot that Egoist is a fictional band from the world of Guilty Crown, and while Chelly portrays Inori as the lead vocalist, that is only half of her identity. Another half is the main character of the show, portrayed by Kayano Ai. So after the credits finished rolling, Kayano left a poetic and emotional message to Chelly, the fans, and Inori. Afterwards, Chelly returned to perform as the lead vocalist of Egoist one last time, singing Genzai no Tomoshibi, the first song on their only album. Thus officially marking the end of an era. This has been Cushion. See you next time.